A typical week is that we're training every day, typically an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, depending upon the day.
Let's talk about this guy, Chris Doyle.
You have to be much different than you are in college, than you have to be in professional football.
Who was hired by this guy, Urban Meyer.
Times in the U.S. have never been better.
Under the tutelage and guise of club chairman Shad Khan.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness.
A supporter and funder of the insurrectionist president, Donald Trump. Chris Doyle is now the Jacksonville Jaguars' director of sport performance, a well-paid gig at the highest level of pro football. He previously served as the strength and conditioning coach at the University of Iowa from 1999 to 2020.
Yeah, I've known Chris for close to 20 years. Our relationship goes back to when I was at Utah.
As always, it's the good old boys club. Doyle last June was essentially given $1 million by the University of Iowa to go away because the mess he created through his own bigotry was too much to overcome. So, what happened? When the George Floyd protests occurred, Iowa Hawkeye football players felt empowered to do what was right, so they spoke out. Doyle was often singled out as the biggest problem. Many black players accused him of telling them he was going to, quote, send them back to the ghetto if they didn't meet his standards. Others said Doyle criticized their attire or the way they wore their hair. For the racist-ass white people that are watching this video thinking that this is a form of motivation, it's not. Sorry. You know who didn't use these sort of tactics? John Wooden. Never did, never would. He was a principled teacher. Greg Popovich, one of the most successful NBA coaches, does not talk like this either. Former Hawkeye lineman James Daniels, now with the Chicago Bears, wrote after Doyle's well-paid release, there are too many racial disparities in the Iowa football program. Black players have been treated unfairly for far too long.
Feel great about the hire, about his expertise.
Here's what I hate. When the authoritative figures make others around them, mainly their athletes, feel like the lesser. And you should too. I felt like I had to put a mask on to check my identity at the door, said one player. I was told by my coach to change my hairstyle because it didn't fit the Iowa culture, said another.
We vetted him thoroughly, and sports performance is going to be a high priority.
Emmanuel Rugamba, a.k.a. Manny, who transferred from Iowa to Miami, Ohio, wrote a long and detailed version of the many instances Doyle chose racism over humanity, one of which was when he pulled his pants halfway down to sag off his butt, turned his hat backwards, put one hand in his pants, and mocked a player while in the weight room.
This hire has sucked the air out of me. The excitement is gone.
Another former player, Terrence Pryor, was coming off a season-ending injury. Chris Doyle told him to take up rowing, then said, oh wait, black people don't like boats in water, do they?
When you deal with racist acts, it's in someone's DNA. And I'm just like, how is this going to affect free agents wanting to go play for Urban Meyer Jacksonville? How is this going to affect players that are already there when they looking at him sideways?
How fitting that Urban Meyer, a man who provided cover for former staffer Zach Smith at Ohio State, a domestic abuser, would hire someone problematic. Meyer knew the abuse, and his then employer, OSU, placed him on administrative leave.